Hey, it's Mark, and I hope you're doing great today. And I'm welcoming you to this series of videos going to be done about ADHD and how I deal with people clinically when I see ADHD. And I see it in kids and adults. And, it doesn't really matter to me what the age group is. There's usually an underlying cause that has to do with why it's there. And when we are able to do the detective work to find what that is, it's amazing to see the potential for what so many people have as what we call success. So first of all, let's start with our ADHD series talking about mindset. I think if we kind of take a second to reflect on what ADHD is, we think of it as a limiting type mindset. There's a lot of can'ts in ADD and ADHD. Can't stay focused, can't be attentive, can't keep up with the grade levels of reading, can't stop daydreaming. You know what I mean? There's so many different things that I think are the can't mentality to ADD and ADHD, and I think that's part of the problem. We have this can't mindset that overruns the whole aspect. And again, most of us think we need pharmaceutical things to help us to kind of get through this issue, and some of you very well might, but I would venture to say about 90% of you actually don't. And I'm not saying don't take medications, but I think, again, when you do the detective work like I do with people and dig down through the deeper layers to find the problems, usually the solutions present themselves, which is kind of really interesting to me. So I think the mindset around ADHD needs to be shifted from an I can't to an I can, and look at the opportunities presented for so many people when they do start dealing with ADHD from the naturopathic perspective. So again, I think that's a big one. So looking at helping tasks become a little bit easier, maybe staying on point a little bit longer, maybe even exploring the learning type that you or your kid has a trouble with. So some of us, like myself, for example, I don't do well with sitting and reading a textbook. I really don't. I need to sit there and kind of flow charts really make a lot of sense to me, which is why I'm able to articulate so much of this biochemistry so easily, because I can see, this pattern develops into that pattern, and I can kind of connect the dots in my own head because I'm a very visual or tactile type learner. So I'm going to put a link below to a questionnaire that I found online for you guys to see what type of learner you maybe are. So maybe we have to actually change some of the tasks that we're doing and help you continue to learn, but change how we present that focus. That might be one thing that helps you tremendously. I know for me, when I was going through school, my mom, thank you so much, Mom, you got me to where I am today. And we had to sit down at the kitchen table, and I had to regurgitate what I just learned and read for the test tomorrow. So my first test was always with Mom at the kitchen table, and Mom was never against giving you a slap across the head and say, get back in the room and start learning that again. And Mom, again, I thank you so much for doing that. Shouldn't actually hit me, but you know what I mean. But again, for me, I always was that visual, verbal type learner. I did very well with articulating ideas and getting the message across that way, which is probably why I come across the way that I do. But maybe we need to change that focus a little bit for your son or daughter, and then that may be some things we have to do that are a little bit different. So again, I think mindset determines outcome, number one, and if we can change the mindset to an I can and start putting check marks on a page rather than failures on a page, when our mindset changes, our body and our health changes as well. So I think that's video number one. Let's get that mindset right. Hopefully you have some tips and tricks that you're maybe working on. If you have someone that you're working with as a guidance counselor or something like that in your school, then maybe ask them some of the best strategies they've seen to change kids' mindsets. But again, I think that's a very, very important first step. So video number two is coming at you right now, and it's about the gut-brain connection. I'm excited.